So we took a bit of a risk staying here last night. We got absolutely battered by a storm, so much so that the air conditioning unit froze up in the night. Not that we had it switched on, but the wind was coming in through the vent at the back, spinning the fan, and it was hitting the ice like tink, 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 tink. So I had to get up in the pitch black and turn the van around. I have to say, considering I did it completely blind, I didn't end up in the river, and I did a pretty good job. Anyway, it's paid off, because as you can see behind me, we've had loads of snow. The buzzards are out hunting this early morning, and I'm now going to get up on that hillside and I'm going to find me some hare. So come along for the journey and see what I see. The lengths we go to for our passion, for our hobby, and the lengths I'm going to to bring you this video. Oh my days, it is blustery to say the least. We've got a blizzard going on at the moment, but it's not just snow. We've got sleet, snow and frozen rain, and it is miserable. The sun, however, is just starting to appear. We've got an orange glow over the mountains in the bottom end of the valley, so I'm optimistic that by the time I get up with the hare, that may have risen just enough to give me some light. If it does, this is going to be all worthwhile, because we've got the snow. I'm fairly confident I know where a hare is. And then what I've just found, which is really fantastic, is fox tracks heading this direction. I didn't think we'd find fox here, but of course we would do. Why wouldn't we? We've got beautiful big wooded area to my right here, perfect place for a den. So I would say that there is definitely fox tracks going this way. I can't think of any other animal that would produce prints like that look like a dog. And there have been no people out here because there's no footprints whatsoever. So exciting times. I've just seen a huge herd of red deer tear across the side of the mountain. They probably saw me walking up, and it's a hunting estate this, so the minute they see people, they are off. I'm going to press on now. I'm not going to do many pieces to camera until I get up there, because I'm walking into the direction of the wind and it is horrible. Red deer footprints. What I'm going to assume are fox prints. That's definitely not hare, I don't think. I suppose it could be, but they're not spaced out right. So the snow has stopped at long last, and what you can probably see behind me is the sun starting to appear from behind the clouds. The sun now is starting to appear in a reddy purple glow behind those mountains behind me. I'm probably at the foot of the mountain now that I'm going to start climbing up, and I'm going to go to the exact location that I left the hare yesterday when I was with Ashley. I think that's probably a very good starting point. I've come a little bit light today, no binoculars, just to try and get myself as mobile as possible, and mainly because I forgot them. I wasn't going to admit that. So I'm relying on the lens and using the 400mm lens as a bit of a spotting scope, which isn't ideal. Probably the best thing about doing what we've done this morning is that I've got the mountains all to myself. How incredible is that? There are a few cars just coming up through the valley, maybe people who are on the way now, but right now I'm all on my own, and it's just Amazing. So I found my first mountain hare. I'm fairly confident that this is Bo. He's a really well-known hare on this mountainside. He's in exactly the same location that I left him yesterday. And this is the mountain hare that invariably Karen has got quite a relationship with. And I was with a film crew yesterday that are making a video about her. So I'll probably look into that a little bit more and see what I can find out about it. So although this hare is quite confident and it allows people to come quite close, I'm still going to take it very, very steady. Avoid eye contact, don't walk directly towards it, just zigzag very slowly as I get closer to it. So this is definitely Bo, just behind me at probably what I would say 10 metres away. Really confident, but even though he's really confident, what I mustn't do is rush it. I've got loads of time. I'm not against the light's only going to get better and better, if indeed it does actually break the ridgeline. I don't know whether it'll get high enough in the winter to break the ridgeline. But I've got the snow, I've got the hare, the light's pretty good. I'm one very happy man. Oh, and there's a huge herd of red deer that have just come out of the forest. That's obviously where they were sheltering last night from that storm. I don't blame them, it was hideous. But definitely, this has made it all worthwhile. It's hard to explain to anybody that's not into wildlife photography or into nature just what this means to me. It's incredible. I've had next to no sleep. It's freezing cold. It's windy. It's been hard work walking all the way up here. But I'd do it all again every single day just for this experience. What can I say? I've been after this photograph for such a long time. I've been to the Findhorn Valley several times, no snow. I was up in Glen Sheet, I got a photograph of a hare in the snow. It wasn't ideal, it wasn't what I was looking for, but I got it. I got a photograph of it in the snow, so I wasn't complaining. But this is just magical. I mean, I'm talking to the camera and he's happily sat there, he's eating. You know, he's quite confident, happily eating. Every now and again he lifts an ear up, just have a little look at me, a little listen to what I'm doing, and then he goes back to eating. And in all honesty, I don't blame him. It's freezing cold and he's probably quite warm with his feet tucked under his thick fur. So he's probably in the absolute best position. And I think it's going to be a case of who breaks first, whether it's me and I go back to their motorhome, or whether he gets just fed up of me being here. But I don't think he's going anywhere. There's a couple of other photographers that have appeared now down in the valley. I've no doubt they will move their way up here at some point. I'm probably going to spend another half an hour with this hare, and then I'll probably move on and have a look for some other ones. I've been sat with that mountain hare now for the best part of half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. I've got photographs. I was just sat in the snow, and every time he changed his position or he did a little bit of behaviour, I would pick the camera back up and take photographs and then lower the camera, and I just sat still in silence, as I say, for probably half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. And then he sat up and his ears went straight up. And I've got some photographs of that which I'll pop up on the screen now. It was fantastic to see. And then he moved off. He moved off from where he was sat up the hill to the left. There is a couple of photographers moving up the valley to my right, and I don't know whether he'd spotted those and that was enough to send him on his way. But an absolutely magical encounter. Without doubt, the best mountain hare encounter I've ever had. And that will stay with me forever. Well worth the rocky night and the freezing cold conditions. So as you can probably see, the light has broke the crest of the mountain. It's come above the ridge, illuminated this whole side of the mountain, and I've lost the hare. He was settled, he was really settled. I found a second one photographing it, and I think then the two photographers came along. They didn't do anything wrong at all, they were moving nice and slow, and I think just 3 people was too many, and at that point he made a break for it and disappeared. I've tried to follow the tracks, but it's very difficult because they often mix in with other tracks, and very quickly it looks like you've got several hares and they're old tracks from the night. But it is beautiful, isn't it? I mean, just wow. Absolutely wow. This is sensational. So what you can see on the ground, I'll just show you, is resting points of deer. You see the deer tracks coming off in all directions. And there's a second one just here. So that'll be where the deer lay down and rested during that storm. Hence that there's a bald patch and no snow there. I'm struggling to find the hare now. The light is absolutely exquisite and I'm struggling a little bit. But I can't complain because I've already had my encounter. Everything else now is a bonus. Well, that was fantastic. Bumped into Rich Campion again, who is somebody I totally admire as a YouTuber. He's just been saying he doesn't do it as much now. He's mainly doing guiding. And I would recommend anybody who wanted the opportunity to get up in Scotland and go and photograph hares, crested tits, red deer, and you're not really quite sure where to go, what to do, have a look at Rich Campion and what he's offering. He's an absolutely top guy, really knowledgeable, fantastic photographer, and you know, he will definitely get you in close quarters of the target species that you're after. And sometimes guides and going with a guide is a really productive way, particularly when you've not been to an area before. And then he's got a co-guide with him today, a guy called Will Hall, who again, absolutely really interesting fella. He's massively into bushcraft, and his knowledge of bushcraft just seems sensational. He also has a YouTube channel, which I'm assuming is Will Hall, so I'll pop a description a link in the description so that you can check that out as well. Rich and Will just allowed me to get closer to a hare that they directed their clients onto. So it was really nice, and what was fantastic is the light's beautiful, and then we got a real snow flurry, so I was able to capture some shots freezing the snow as it was coming in, freezing like what I did there, freezing the snow as it was coming in, to get that kind of environmental shot that sometimes is a shot that I overlook rather than, you know, always going for those tight portraits. Putting a bit of space around the animal, particularly when you've got all this snow, is just ideal. Shutter speeds today, I mean, I've been well over 1,000th of a second at times, probably up to about 4,000 of a second. And the reason my shutter speed have been so high, it's not been because I'm anticipating the animal moving, it's been the fact that the conditions are so bright, and I quite like to shoot in as wide open aperture as I possibly can get to, so that it really diffuses the background. So I needed a fast shutter speed for that. So, and probably the end of the mountain hares, that it feels a little bit alien walking out of the valley when the light's still fantastic and there's snow on the ground and there's hares to be had. However, I've got my wife and daughter in the motorhome, and they've probably put up with enough already, and you know that I don't want them to get fed up. So I'm going to head back now, hopefully get a bit of breakfast because I'm starving. I was out obviously very early this morning and I've not had anything to eat yet, so go and get a bit of breakfast, and then we'll look to move on to some of the other places. Stay tuned, because tomorrow hopefully I'm going to be in a hide photographing buzzards. Buzzards are one of those birds that always seems to evade me. I've got a couple of shots of buzzards, but I'm hoping to get something a little bit different tomorrow. And then we've got lots of other things in store. We've booked the reindeer herd on Thursday, so we're going to be off into the Cairngorm Mountain, and it's the only free-range reindeer herd in the UK. And we're going to get up and hopefully get close quarters with some reindeer. Of course, they won't have the huge antlers that we often see them with. They tend to lose those at sort of December time. Of course, that's why Father Christmas's reindeer were all female, because they've all got antlers, and in December the males don't have, but the females do. So we've got that in store, and we've got a few other things along the way. So stay with me, and until later, ta-ra! So, after having probably one of the best days photography this year for definite, 2024, this morning, and spending the time with those stunning hares in beautiful light and plenty of snow, I've had a disaster. My camera, when we're moving from one place to another, has rolled off the chair that it was on, landed on the floor, and the body has broken off the lens. And it's properly broken as well. It's not like it's just pulled off. And I've got no spare. So that is this trip over with regards to photography. What an absolute disaster. I was supposed to be in a buzzard hide tomorrow. I've had to ring and cancel that. The guy very kindly said that I could use his camera, but in all honesty, it's not the same, is it? So that's done and dusted. Still got the reindeers on Thursday, so I'm going to do a video on can you do wildlife photography with a mobile phone, because that's all I've got. So stay tuned. If it's any good, I'll make a video of it. If it's not, it might be a while before I'm back again. If you've enjoyed this video, give us a like, definitely worth a like. If you've not yet subscribed, please consider doing so as well. And until next time, ta-ra.